What up, what up, what up? It's Tuesday night. You know what the deal is. It's Hockey Happy Hour coming at you live. 1-1, just as we're getting ready to come on. Flyers tied up with the New Jersey Devils. So we got the game on the tube tonight, doing live reaction to the game. So come comment on that. We're going to talk about some other things. We're talking about Sam Ersson a little bit and how he's been this year. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment in, tell your friends. Let's go. It's time to talk some puck.
What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Sitsudi along with the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
What up?
And Mr. Blue Shirt, Mr. Broadway, Mr. Switzerland, Big Bad Brad Ryer. And tonight's show brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. As always, Dr. Paul Vidal. If you got any aches and pains, go hit the doc up. He'll make sure that you don't have any more of those aches and pains. And you make your appointment at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com and then visit one of his highly trained professional teams either in Burlington or Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And you will be perfect after that. All right, and the poll question brought to you by Baggio's Bread. If you got a party coming up or you want to cater something and have some good bread on top of that, Baggio's Bread's the one to go to. Located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D for 10% off of your in-store purchase. And the poll question for tonight is between Carter Hart and Samuel Ersson. The Flyers have the best goaltending tandem in the NHL. Agree or disagree? And I don't think right now was the best time to bring that question up because it looks like the Devils just scored. Wonderful. But with that being said, agree or disagree, gentlemen? Do you agree that Carter Hart and Samuel Ersson are the best tandem currently going in the league right now?
I'm going to disagree. I think they're the hottest. I think they're both playing very, very well right now. As you know, I don't necessarily know if I fully blame him on that one.
It was a weird bounce.
Yeah, it took a weird bounce off of Nico and just went right to Brat. But I mean, both guys are playing extremely well. They're much more improved off of last year. Ersson had a rough start to the season, and he's really kind of coming to his own. Playing a really good stretch here in the last, I think he's in 6 games. He's got 2 shutouts in these 6 games. Really strong game against Detroit the other night, especially in the last couple minutes where he just got berated by Detroit. It's been a really good stretch for these Flyers goaltenders. Defense has been playing really well in front, good support. But all in all, like, they've had some really bad games this year. And it's going to happen. It's the NHL. Some teams are just going to be on, and there's going to be games where goalies are just going to be completely locked in. But for the most part, this is a really good tandem. I think there's still some growing for this tandem to do. There's still some developing for these guys to do as well. But I mean, if you look at their goals against and their save percentage on the year, 267 or 263 combined goals against, and a 909 save percentage on the season so far through 30 games. It's pretty impressive numbers through 30 games for these two goaltenders. And you also got to remember, Cal Peterson was involved in that too, so that number could potentially be a little bit lower if it wasn't for that 5-0 game that he had. All in all, I think it's been a really good stretch. I think that the future's bright for these two guys that the Flyers have. But to say that they're the best tandem in the league right now, I'm going to say no. But they are definitely the hottest tandem right now.
Brad, how do you feel?
No, but I will give you a couple of things right now. They're probably
the hottest tandem in the league, and I will say that they are the best young tandem in the league. Uh, when you look at most teams have usually a veteran and a youngster in there. The Flyers basically have. I mean, Hart's not is not an old player. He's not close to being in his prime yet. So I consider him a kid. What is he? 25? 24?
24, 25, one of those
Yeah, I mean that's
ages.
still to me anything under 26 is still very young in the NHL. So right now, as far as the best two young goalies uh, tandem in the league, yes. As far as best tandems, I could think of three right off the top of my head that are miles ahead right now. Although not necessarily statistically, but Boston, the Islanders, the Rangers, they're all way ahead of them as far as what they've been able to prove for a whole season. So we'll see what happens. But they're playing very well right now, and I you got to give credit where credit is due. And also a lot of credit to and a shout out to John Tortorella. What a job he's done with that team.
Absolutely.
I mean, I told you guys, now it didn't happen last year, but I told you guys that they learn how to play defense.
Right.
That was the one thing I told you. I wasn't sure about their power play because, John's had it rough with power plays everywhere he's gone, but getting teams to play defensive hockey, he's real good at that. And you know what? The Flyers have bought it. And I think, sometimes young players, may actually with a strict coach may, really, take hold and learn the game. And I think that's what Tortorella's doing. He taught these guys how to play the game correctly, how to play defense correctly and convert defense into offense and score some goals. And, to the Flyers' credit, they've also drafted some pretty good players who are coming along. So, it's great to see that they're finally back and they're making it fun to root against them again. Rooting against them was kind of like, you're I don't know, you're rooting against rooting against the Mets, like they're so bad. They were so bad for last year. It wasn't even fun watching them lose, and it's no fun watching a team lose unless they're good and then they lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I gotcha. So basically, for me, I will say the best goaltending tandem. I'll say no. I'll disagree to that, but I will say that they're doing what they got to do to get the job done. And it's not always. See, the thing is, you could be the best anything during the regular season. It don't mean a damn thing come the playoffs. Boston was the greatest team ever to play the regular season last year. Look how well that got them in the playoffs. So, really, to me, even if it's good to see that you're getting these good games out of them in the regular season, you don't have to be the best. As long as you're able to keep the team's head above water and as long as you're able to pull out those hard-fought wins, you're doing everything you got to do to get those 2 points, and that's all that matters. You don't need to be the best anything as long as you get the job done at the end of the night.
Consistency, brother.
Right.
Exactly, Maddie. And even through this month of December where I think they're pretty much undefeated. They might be, I think they have one overtime loss. And I came to the Predators last week while we were live, but it's like, consistency is everything. And then you're starting to see that. You're starting to see the consistency from the defense. You're seeing the consistency in the goaltending, in the offensive pressure, the sustained pressure. This team, it's like I said last week, this team is playing a confident game, and you can tell. And they're all bought in on each other, and just the way that they play, you can just see this team is just night and day, so different from the team from last year.
Yeah, I would agree. And Priz he's saying Boston, in his opinion, is the best pair currently going goaltending wise. And I was thinking that as well when I was thinking of this question. But again, that didn't mean a damn thing last year. It might not mean anything this year when we get to the playoffs. So fingers crossed. With that being said, currently reacting to the Flyers-Devils matchup. It is 2-1 New Jersey currently. Unfortunately, on the power play, Jesper Bratt takes advantage of a puck that takes a weird hop off of Nico Hischier, like Bryce said earlier. And the Flyers with a great chance, and they bury it. It is now 2-2. A goal for either Konechny or Paling.
It's Paling.
Paling.
That's
Oh,
two
man.
for Paling now.
2 Paling goals tonight. And there's somebody dressed up as Gritty. There you go. There's a player right there. 2-2 the score, 10-10 the shots. So this is a pretty evenly contested matchup, to say the least. But wow, what a great play here. 2-on-1 opportunity coming right on down. Perfect little pass from Konechny. He gets it right through the D-man covering him, which was Siegenthaler. And
Put a
puts
little
it,
sauce on it.
yep.
What a good. I mean, not to take anything away from the pass Konechny just made, but what an outlet pass by Sanheim. Like just to
Yes.
wow, that was a great pass, great vision there by Sanheim to set the play up.
Nice. Gotta love it when you see the team just functioning real well here. And now the Flyers buzzing a little bit, trying to get something going here against the Devils. Albeit, though, losing the puck in the corner is not a good way to do it.
Stay out of the penalty box, guys.
Yeah,
That power play. If you let them, if you're going to start giving them power plays, you have no shot to beat them.
Oh, well, the Flyers found that out firsthand when we started up the show. So,
Don't go to the penalty. If you're going to take a penalty, okay, you know, stop a guaranteed goal. Then it's okay. Otherwise, don't take penalties against that team. They're very hard to stop in the power play.
yeah, they are. They have the best power play in the league at 31%. So it's a lethal power play. If you're producing 25% and up, you have a lethal power play.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's going to be a real big thing for the Devils if they're in the playoffs. And I say if because they've had their struggles during the regular season. But as long as they make the playoffs, that power play could be a huge difference maker for them going through the playoffs.
I think they don't even have Dougie Hamilton right now.
Right.
He's their quarterback.
Yeah. Right. Priz saying San Carchidi released an article talking about Johnny Hockey and the Flyers. Again with the Johnny Hockey talk and the Flyers. It's just so much love with somebody coming home. It's like, listen, I don't really give a fuck. I don't really want Johnny Hockey at this point. I don't. What's he done for the Blue Jackets? Zip. So it's like, what's the point of even bringing him here? What, just to say we did? Stupid. That's a
lot of
stupid
money.
thing to do.
A lot of money for a guy who's not really producing right now.
Right. So why would you even bring him over? And I know
you can get him fairly cheap right now because of his production, but you're gonna have to give up a lot to get him.
Right. So what's the purpose? You know?
Right now with how the team's playing, do you really want to try and mess up this chemistry? Because personally, I don't. No. I mean, we've been saying this for years, and it's still a fact today. But the thing I want to bring up is Johnny Gaudreau is not the answer to this team. He is another playmaker. He's not a shooter. He's not a shoot-first player. He's got great vision and a great ability to pass the puck.
If you're talking line A, that's another story.
Bingo. Flyers need a shooter. They got 2 coming up. It's a matter of, do you want to wait for these guys or not? Because once Carter Gauthier and Matvei Michkov, they come over here, it's going to improve, the power play. It's going to improve the offense. And these guys are just unbelievable when it comes to offensive creativity. And Michkov has got such a knack for scoring goals. Johnny had a great couple years before he left Calgary. And he probably shouldn't have left Calgary, to be completely honest with you.
Oh, we got another 2-on-1 for the Flyers here.
And of course, I'm talking they're going to score.
Nope, not this time.
No.
I was kind of hoping. I was like, oh, man, please, it's destiny.
But the other thing we got to remember, too, here is he's 30 years old. He's not exactly a young guy. And I always preach you need veterans on a team full of kids. This team has plenty of veterans. They have plenty of leadership coming from Cam Atkinson and Sean Couturier and Travis Konechny and a bunch of the other guys, especially on the defensive side. Do you really want to hold on to a guy for the next 8 years who's going to be 38 by the time his contract is up? To pay him, what was it, $9.5 million a year, just to bring him home?
I don't even really think that it would be. I don't even really think that would help this team in any way, shape, or form, to be honest with you. It's like he's another passer, like you were saying. It's like we need shooters, not passers. If he's a shooter, that's one thing. If he's a passer, it's like I would have much rather him go out and get Patrick Kane and then have them go
Right.
and grab Johnny Hockey.
At least with Patrick Kane, one, you can get him on a short-term deal.
Right.
And two, he's a guy that, again, similar to what we're looking for as a Flyers fan base, is he's a guy that can score goals. He's a multi 30, 40 goal scorer. And he would fit this scheme a little bit better than what Johnny would. And it's just exactly what it is. I have nothing but respect for Sam Carchidi. He is a great writer for the Flyers and has been for a long time. And he was on the show, and he was amazing when he was on the show with us.
Right.
But this is clickbait here. This is just getting people to look at his article, because where he is now, he's not getting seen like he was when he was with the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Right.
And that's a shame to me.
It is.
And and I'm sure it's an opinionated piece, which is great. Like, that's what most of these pieces are nowadays. It's all opinion. But Johnny coming to Philly, I think, would be a massive mistake.
So Pris saying Kane would have been a much better fit, so he agrees with that. He was talking about how he had 115 points before he played on a shit team, which that's true. But he also said the Blue Jackets have none of the leverage in trading him. They do not. And he's 30, long contract. And at this point, Columbus should be happy to clear the contract. Columbus would be very happy if they did.
But it's all up to his wife. His wife calls his shots, not Johnny.
Hey, listen, sometimes, there's the old saying, happy wife, happy life. So that's just what it is at the end of the day.
No, that's true.
Guys, I have a name for you if you're looking for a guy who shoots first and can score a lot of goals. Anthony Duclair.
Duclair would be interesting. I mean, it took a minute
won't cost you all that much.
No, and I mean, he had
he knows where the net is, that's for sure.
He had a rough start of it with the Sharks at first. I think he found his footing as the season went along a little bit. Is he going to be putting in like
he won't
30?
Put in 40, but he could put in 20 to 25.
Right, and that actually could be a huge difference maker for the Flyers, especially on a power play.
Yeah, look, he's a good offensive player, and he is a shoot first guy.
Right, and I have nothing
I'm just
against
looking
that.
for guys. I'm just looking for guys who don't make an incredible amount of money, or shoot first guys, and you won't have to give up your entire farm system to get.
Right,
I want to see his contract though.
Third, maybe.
I don't think Duclair has a big contract.
It's not big; it's length. If he's on like a 1 or 2 year deal, I'd be all for it. I think for all the reasons that Brad said, he'd be a good name to bring in.
And Prism agrees. He says Duclair is a great name, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, San Jose was just in New York, and he played a hell of a game against the Rangers, and he had a hell of a game against the Devils too.
Right.
In that 6-3 win.
Yes.
Against them, he had a heck of a game in that game as well. So.
Do it. He's on a 1 year deal and he's making $4 million on a cap hit. Do it.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely worth taking a look at him. Yeah, I would actually call the Sharks up and be like, "Hey, we're not against getting Duclair, but question is, what do the Sharks want in return? They shouldn't want much.
What, a third maybe a third or a fourth?
If a third or fourth gets the job done, I'm fine with that because that's not a bad. They're not going to
ask for a first or a second round pick.
That would be stupid. And if you're asking for a prospect, then I'm hanging the phone up. So
they would probably want like a third or a fourth round pick, and then they could say, okay, we got a free agent, we signed a free agent, and we ended up turning it into a draft pick.
Right. So it's
You know?
it's a high risk the high risk. It's low risk possible solid reward that you could get for a rental. So I'm completely fine with that.
I could see that deal
2-1
getting done
Rangers.
for. I could see that deal getting done for maybe a fourth this year, and maybe a
Right.
sixth next year,
I
or
could see
something
that.
something along those lines.
Yeah, that's all. That's all
And
it's
that's
going to
not
take.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's not
That's
bad at
all it's
all.
going to take. Yeah, I don't think it's
Um
going to take a sixth. I think a fourth
no.
is about right.
Yeah, yeah. So Swoopy saying if Goudreau was a center, it would be a better fit. Centers are supposed to be the pass first, high assist guys. Flyers need that as center, but need goal scoring and shoot first guys at the wing.
I agree, but I still don't think bringing Johnny here on the contract that he's on is going to be a good idea.
That's tough.
And a penalty coming up against the Devils. A golden opportunity for the Flyers there from Lawton. He just could not bury it, as I do believe the penalty was infracted upon him. I think it was a tripping.
But I saw John call
Bury them, guys. Bury them.
John. What's up, buddy? I hope you're doing good, man. Glad to
Yo,
see
Johnny.
you back on A2D with the Wings Lacrosse stuff that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
It's
But yeah,
exciting to see A2D expanding into more sports and into lacrosse now.
agreed. I agree with you. Stay with the plan. I don't want to necessarily say be a flat seller, be a conservative seller. You don't want to give up too much. I've been saying this team is a legit playoff contender. Will they get the spot? We'll see, but they will definitely be battling all season long for a spot. You got Walker, who's having a great year. You could get a nice return on. You have Sealer, who's been there.
Why would you want to trade these guys, though? Do you have guys?
They're on 1 year deals.
Yeah, they're not.
They're on 1 year deals.
Yeah, they're rentals.
Okay, I mean, I'm just saying they've been playing well. Why not re-sign them?
Because you can get something for them right now, and the expectation is not to make a run in the playoffs.
Right.
But you got a pretty.
So you
good
want to get
team.
something in return.
Maybe you can make a run in the playoffs.
That's more like just icing on the cake. I think that's the way that Danny and Keith are looking at it. They're not less looking at it as this is a must happen. It's more of the, hey, if we make the playoffs, great. If we make a little run, even better. But it's not necessarily what we were asking for this year.
But you know they're going to find ways to try to improve the team at the deadline.
Of course.
If they can find a way, if they can find a way to add something without giving up the future and not giving up something that's going to come back to haunt them, they'll do it, especially with a Western Division team. That's why I happen to just check on DeClaire because I think he scored a goal against the Devils. So of course you know me. I'm in San Diego with my wife on vacation, and what am I doing? I'm watching the freaking Sharks and Devils on TV. and then Duclair, I think Duclair scored a goal, and then I'm looking at how much money he was making. I remember it wasn't a lot, and I was like, man, that guy would be a good fit for the Rangers. And I'm saying to myself, he'd be even better fit for the Flyers because
he would be.
he's a left wing, and the Rangers kind of need a right wing at this point.
Oh, the Flyers are buzzing here, but again, one too many passes. They had a couple of decent shots though that they put down on Vanacek.
I mean, I agree. You don't want to give up too much, but I mean, both of those guys are on the back end of the deals. They're in the final year of their contract. Sealer, he doesn't really light the world on fire. He's having a really good year, but he's not really setting the world on fire. He's not somebody they're looking at a long term.
But you could trade him. You could trade him to a contender for a depth defender.
Yeah, you could do that. You could
middle
Walker. You could probably get a pick for. You could probably get a nice pick for. You could probably get a third for him with the way he's playing right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably, and that's that, and again, you could. That's the thing where you could do that, and then trade a third for a guy like DeClaire, or a player that's similar to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, stuff like that makes sense because they're not making. DeClaire's not going to kill you, and even if you got DeClaire, you could always have San Diego eat some of the money.
Yeah, I mean,
Flyers
have plenty of cap space, so
yeah,
they have. I think they're like $9 million in the hole or something. I thought I saw.
Yeah, I mean, you got room to make something like that work, and you're not going to give up a lot for it. That's fine. Those are fine. It's the other big splash deals you want to stay away from because it's like, no, big splash deals, that's for the perennial cup contenders to go and make.
If you're going to make a splash deal, it has to be the right guy.
Right, but it has to be, and it has to be a guy who's going to deliver the goods right then and there.
And it has to be a well thought it has to be a well thought player that's gonna
Right.
that's not only gonna help this year, but is gonna be around
Several
for years to
years.
come. That you
Yeah,
could make a captain, and that kind of a move. That's I
right,
mean,
right.
Bingo. Bingo. And there's some good defensemen in this draft. So if you can get a few more picks for this year and get rid of a guy like Walker, as much as I would hate to see him go, but it's a trade that makes sense when the time comes.
Right.
Sealer as well. You can get a couple mid round picks for him. I think that's going to be a great move because you have Oliver Bonk, who's going to probably be up next year, who made a very good case in camp this year to put him on the roster this year. But
Is Gauthier a senior?
Cutter doesn't matter if he signs his ELC.
Okay.
if Cutter decides,
Cutter can sign his ELC once the Frozen Four is over. To Ant's point,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true.
he
Yeah.
could come up. He could come up in March if they wanted to when the season's over.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you could sign him then, but I wouldn't waste one of his 3 years on just March. I just send him. I just let him either take off, or if you want to send him if you sign him to an ELC, does that mean he has to play in the He can play in the AHL?
No, he can go right to the Flyers.
Well, I think he
Okay.
would. Didn't.
No, but I'm saying,
wasn't he
if
trying
he
to get
plays
into
in
the
the-
World Juniors as well?
That's a possibility too.
I don't think he made the roster if he was.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was him or if it was another Flyers prospect.
You know what? I don't think he was because of the season that Boston College was having. I think he wanted to stick
Okay.
that out and see that through.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
I'll double check the roster, but I'm pretty sure he's not on it.
Okay. So let's see here. Before we continue forward, give our first period sponsor here. If you're looking to buy or sell a home or looking for a change of career in brokerage, contact Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy@exprealty.com. If you like to make that next big step, go to Alan Foy because it's a tough one to make, but you want to do it right. And as we continue through the second period, we'll continue our reactions to the Flyers Devils here as we continue forward on, of course, saying the biggest addition to this roster will be Cutter once Frozen 4 is over. Got this gentleman by the name of Rob Povia chiming in saying, what the fuck
Scumbag.
is up, boys? Let's go, Flyers.
This kid, love you, Robbie.
He also says, Merry Christmas, fam, to everybody out there. And a Merry Christmas back to you, Rob.
Yeah, brother.
We're missing you tonight.
Of course, as always. And absolutely agree to tonight's face-off. Now we just need Hart to kick this bug. Yes, unfortunately, Hart has been battling some type of illness. We don't know what it is, but there has been something going around this year. I know because I think I've been dealing with it too. So it's
Just the flu. That's
Brian,
all
your
it is.
your goaltender the other night, who not Dockstall, the other guy,
Gibson.
Gibson was playing a great game against the Devils the other night, and then after the second period, he mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah, he's
I heard
sick.
he got the flu. Yeah, I heard he had the flu. Can you imagine if he probably was upchucking in the locker room? I mean, could you imagine if he did that on the ice?
It wouldn't be the first time a player or a referee threw up on the ice.
But a goalie though, that's just
Confirmed. Gauthier is on the U.S. roster, so I was wrong.
okay.
As usual.
oh.
A Swoopy saying 24, 25-year-old defenseman, yes, not trading for vets, not even ones on short-term deals.
Depends who it is.
It depends. I agree with Brad here. It depends. I'm not just going to go for just a young defenseman because a lot of teams, especially right now, they're not going to give up young defensemen.
No, it's too hard to. It takes a while to get one in. I'll tell you what. If your team, Brian, wanted to trade Jamie Drysdale, they probably get a couple of at least one first for him.
He's not in the plans of getting moved anytime soon. I think if anybody on the defense is going to get moved, possibly Cam Fowler, but I think that
He makes a lot of money though, doesn't he?
He does. I
But
think
you
it's
could
like
send
6.5.
But you could send him to one of the top teams. You could send him to one of the cup contenders, probably, as long as they got the cap space, or they move out some contracts they don't want.
He'd be a Toronto move.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going anywhere. I think he's got a no movement clause anyway. But if you look at the way that Anaheim's starting to set up their defense, they have a veteran to go with every young guy. So it's Jackson Lacombe with Cam Fowler. It's Jamie Drysdale when he's healthy. He's with Pavel Mintyukov. And then Reka Gudis is on the line with Euro Vakanainen. And the defense is
That Mintyukov
it's getting
is
there.
a really good player, by the way.
Oh, I know.
He
I'm
is.
so excited.
I was very impressed with his performance against the Rangers and then against the Devils. He looks like the real thing.
So
Yeah, he's a quarterback.
Yeah,
he's a future quarterback.
He looks good.
So right now, about 1 minute and 8 seconds left in the second period. It is 17 shots to 12 shots in favor of the Flyers. Second period, I would say the Flyers have had a lot of really good chances. They've managed to get 2 goals on the board. Unfortunately, they had to tie it back up after making a mistake of going to the box, but they were able to do that at least. Palat did have a scary chance against Ersson. Luckily, he shot it wide. But other than that, though, it's been, I would say, pretty decently even, but I think the Flyers have had a few more of the opportunities, even though the Devils apparently have been winning more of the faceoffs, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been pretty even for the most part. Everything that the Flyers are getting, they're giving up. There's been a few odd man rushes going both ways in this period. I mean, if I'm the Flyers in the third period, I make the adjustment to not to sit back, but maybe be a little bit more conservative with the puck and try not give up so many chances with this Devils team.
The Devils defense they've got a lot of young players right now on their defense because they've got some injuries back there. I think if they just play well defensively, the Devils will give up opportunities.
Right.
And with the Flyers are a much better. They're a much better defensive team.
Fanned opportunity there from one.
Yeah, and you know what, Brad? And I said this earlier in the year, and it's something that the Devils have gotten very, very better at, is they're not giving up as many goals as they were to start the year. So they would be winning a bunch of shootout games, 5-4, 6-5, 4-2, whatever. They've been giving up a lot of goals. They have really settled in, and they're starting to play much better defensively, even despite the fact that they have some injuries. Dougie Hamilton being the guy that we mentioned earlier, and it's leading to some better goaltending, and the Devils are they're starting to find that groove they had last year.
They've been playing better, but they've had some unexplainable losses. I mean, nothing personal, Bri, but they should not be getting beat 5-1 against the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, that should not. And they should not be losing 6-3 against the Sharks, because when the Sharks beat them, the Sharks up to that point had not scored more than a goal on the road all season. And not only did they score a goal, they put 6 in.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with the Devils, but defensively, it seems like when they're not totally focused defensively, they give up a lot of goals. So if the Flyers continue, and let's be honest, the Flyers right now are one of the best defensive teams in the NHL. I don't know if it's going to last all season. I thought at the beginning of the year when I saw their defense, I was like, yikes.
Well,
I was wrong. They've been terrific this year.
Well, Swoopy, I'm sorry that it's behind, my man. Got to give my live reactions, though. There's nothing I could do about it.
Don't worry, Swoopy. He does it to me, too.
He was threatening me today before. No, I'm just kidding. He wasn't really.
Swoopy, I have Swoopy, I'm going to say this to you right now, my man. I have a great solution to the problem. Stop using YouTube TV and watch it on regular television. How about that? That might solve your problem.
We're all old school here. He might not have cable like some of us old school guys. Swoopy's a kid. He's probably streaming. He streams everything, I'm sure.
I'm just saying, I was making a suggestion. I was trying to help him out, so that way there'd be no spoilers for him.
I'm telling the plays, and Rob hasn't seen them yet. He's like, "What are you talking about, Brad?" I was like, "Oh man, what a stupid pass!" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Oh, come on!" And then of course, Swoopy it was sending little messages to me with you, "Shut up already." He was warning me. He was warning me not to do it tonight, and I was like,
That's
You know,
okay. I guess I did it for you.
Yeah, I can't really do it because I can't get the. I would have to get Comcast, and I already have DirecTV, so I can't be sinking $300-400 a month into TV.
Priz saying they could have been also motivated to play hard for Blackwood. True.
Could have.
Because, I mean, Blackwood has been pretty much the best player on the Sharks this whole season, really, when you think about it. And to be fair, I feel bad for Blackwood. This poor guy is just, he's on a real bad team. I mean, I get it that he wasn't exactly playing stellar where he was, but, it's like, damn, he got sent to Siberia. That's a pretty
actually
rough go
that particular goal, that particular game, he played very well in that game.
He did.
The Devils against the Devils, the Devils had totally outplayed the Sharks. I mean, the Sharks were outshot by like a 2 or 3 to 1 margin, but you know.
So Me Metal Mike, he wants to take this off the rails for a quick second and say, what the heck is going on with the Eagles? Off topic, but Brad, why are the Birds playing piss poor football, and how can they get back to the Super Bowl for Hurts and win it?
Oh boy, they got to fix their defense right now.
They got to fix a lot of things.
I think first and foremost, run the damn ball. I mean, and what's with all the bubble screens? I don't get it. Why do they do those plays? I don't watch every Eagle game, quite frankly, Mike. I mean, I'm a Giant fan, which I'm used to watching lousy football. So, it's kind of redundant to say that, but the Eagles actually have a good offensive line as opposed to the Giants who have already gotten two quarterbacks injured and are lucky as hell that DeVito actually didn't get a concussion on Sunday with that hit he took when he was trying to slide. Brutal. Yeah,
that hurt me. I think I can cuss myself watching that.
Brian, I was ready to get carried out of the my room in a stretcher when I saw that. that even hurt me. That was as bad. The night before I had to watch David Pasternak take a cheap shot at Ryan Lindgren because for some reason he really hates Ryan Lindgren and went and hit him from behind. I mean, he smushed his face into the boards. It was actually, if you're not a Ranger fan, you probably laugh because it was actually, pretty funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a complete face plant, but I don't know what the deal is with those two, but
I don't know either. But
why Pasternak would risk taking a 5-minute penalty and get a game misconduct because he had to hit Lindgren?
Maybe Lindgren stole his girl. Who knows? Maybe.
Isn't that Trent Frederick's job though?
Maybe.
I mean, Frederick wanted to fight Trouba and he finally got his way.
Real quick, I want to give my take on the Eagles real fast.
Sure, right ahead.
I think to Brad's point, the defense has been just atrocious all season long. Everything past the defensive line has just been incredibly inconsistent or non-existent. Mike's right. It's they're not running the ball. For some reason, I don't know what it is. Jalen Hurts is, I guess, predetermining who he's throwing to in the huddle. If he's not taking the ball himself, he's just carrying way too much of the pressure on him instead of trying to spread it around to everybody else. He's not checking down when he needs to. He's holding on to the ball too long.
They're making him Josh Allen, basically. And he can't be Josh Allen.
Basically.
And Josh Allen couldn't be Josh Allen.
They need to simplify. They need to simplify the offense, in my opinion. It's nothing that's not fixable. This is the same offense that got him to the Super Bowl last year. I get it's new offensive coordinator. Maybe Brian Johnson isn't the guy to replace. Blanking on his name from last year. Took the coaching job in Indy.
Or was that the defense? Was he?
No, he went to Arizona. He was defense.
Okay.
But
I can't remember.
Regardless, maybe Brian Johnson's not the guy. Maybe you bring Frank Reich back in the offseason. Kind of maybe have him be like an offensive coordinating consultant or something. Maybe create a position for him. I don't know, but simplifying the game seems like it's the thanks, Swoopy. It just seems like it's the most
There you
logical
go.
thing to simplify everything and just do everything they can to take the ball out
Run
of
the ball and
Hurts' hands.
tell A.J. Brown to shut the blankety blank up.
So
I'm
You
good
know,
with him talking.
seriously, it's
We
always,
got-
I'm good. Maybe it'll light a fire under Jalen.
you ever
we
notice
got,
it's always the wide receivers that are crying about something?
well,
Because they're prima donnas, man.
aren't them
I
and
mean-
aren't them and some of the quarterbacks considered the divas of football?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they are. I can't believe Brown is just Brown is. I never thought Brown would be one of them, but I guess so.
exactly, Eric. That's a great point. It's big play or bust. It's not all sustaining drives. It's not game management. It's not clock management. They're going for the big
That's
play.
not how they got to the Super Bowl last year.
Exactly. They got it
They
by
ran the
sustaining
ball
drives and running the
they,
ball. Yep.
They ran the ball. They wore teams out. By the fourth quarter, the other team's defense had nothing left, and then Hurts could start throwing the ball to the receivers because there was no pass rush, and
Bingo.
and they would wipe everybody out. I don't get it. Jalen Hurts, and I don't like Jalen Hurts obviously because he's an Eagle more than anything else, But let's be honest, he's not the kind of guy that's going to throw 40 passes and lead you to victory. He's one of those guys you want him to throw maybe 20 to 25 to 30 passes at the most, and then you run 40 plays. If you run 40 plays, you're gonna wear out the other team, and period. And then his passing is going to even be better in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Because he'll have no pass rush, and then they'll be too tired to chase him.
Bingo.
I don't know why. Why would you? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Swoopy, a part of me doesn't want to do that because I like torturing people. You're just asking me not to do it. Just saying.
I mean, if Maddie's not reacting, I'm going to be the one reacting. Me and Maddie are finally on the same page.
Good. We can both torture Swoopy together. This
I
is
torture him
perfect.
enough.
By the way, Brinkman also says, glad the Flyers didn't trade Hart like I suggested many times.
Yeah.
I tried to
So are
explain
we.
to him that you can't trade a good young goalie,
And
you
Al
don't wanna
Frank,
do
who
that.
Especially at 23.
No, he's too young. He's too young to get to trade right now.
And Al Frank from earlier on, who said Tommy DeVito baby and beat the birds, he also states that he is a Devils, Mets, and Giants fan. And what I'm confused on is that he is a Mets fan and a Giants fan. Usually that is not how that goes.
I don't know
Usually
anybody.
not.
I don't know anybody who goes in that direction. It's always Yankees and Giants and Mets and Jets.
Right, which is why I'm slightly confused by this. So, Al, please feel free to throw that. I won't question the Devils fanhood, even though I absolutely hate the Devils. But you know what? Hey, listen, that's hockey. We're here for hockey, and you know what? I guess we all make mistakes.
He's from North Jersey, and he's
right.
Okay.
Right. It's like hockey, it's interchangeable. But when you go with the Giants and the Mets, that's where everybody's going to start scratching their head. Anyway.
You got to be rooting for the teams from the Bronx. The Giants originally were from the Bronx. They both played in Yankee Stadium. That's why everybody was a Giant and Yankee fan, and the Jets used to play at Shea. So that's why they were Jets and Mets. And all the Met fans are usually from Brooklyn, Queens, and Long Island, and the Yankee fans are from Bronx and North Jersey, generally.
Well, while we have that sink into everybody so that way people understand why it's weird what we just saw, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will dive into the second period where we will be previewing the Flyers and the Predators, who will finish up their season series with each other as the Preds will come to Philadelphia for the final meeting between those two teams for the season. Until then, here is a word from our sponsors. We will be right back after this.
Hats.com is the premier destination for quality and fashion-forward hats and more, with designs for every style and trend. Locally based and run by Philly sports team fanatics, Hats.com can help you elevate your hat John. Utilize the easy-to-use guides at Hats.com to find your perfect size and style, and shipping and returns are free. Hats.com. Find yourself in a hat. Use code Philly for 15% off your order. Hats.com.
In our family, food is our daily bond. My nonna, affectionately called Mama by many, found solace and joy in the kitchen, sharing her love through delicious creations. She turned her culinary passion into a flourishing business alongside her husband and sons in 1983. Celebrating 40 years is a testament to our exceptional team, friends, family, and beloved customers. With gratitude, we look forward to the future, expanding our brand to share the highest quality Italian food and wine nationwide. Our heartfelt thanks to everyone who has played a part in our story. Grazie mille.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, back to it. We are here in the second period where we'll be previewing the battle between the Predators and the Flyers. Actually, I correct myself. That's the third period. Second period, we're going to talk about Sam Ersson and the strong play that he's been currently having. And it's been a very interesting year for Flyers goaltending. Obviously, we saw Sam Ersson last year. He did play some really solid games. Unfortunately, he also fell victim to the Flyers' lack of defensive play last year, which left him out to dry a few times like it did Carter Hart. However, with solid defensive play in front of both him and Hart, they've turned into quite a little tandem, and Ersson actually managed to get himself a nice shutout in the previous matchup and got himself he's had a lot of really great performances that he's put together here for the Flyers. So, gentlemen, what's your opinion on Sam Ersson, and how do you feel about this young man coming into the Flyer system and showing a little something last year in a really bad season, giving a little sliver of light there? Now this year, really taking it and saying, hey, what you saw last year from me, those little signs of really great play, that wasn't a fluke. I can actually do this even with a solid defense in front of me or a bad defense in front of me. It doesn't matter. I can still pull it off. How are you feeling about Sam Ersson as he's continued through this regular season?
The one thing that stuck out to me is the fact that now that he's playing a little bit more consistently, and the fact that he is playing some of the better teams in the league, unlike he was last year, he's really shown up for these games. He's given up 9 goals. Actually make it 11 goals, including the 2 tonight, in the last 5 or 6 games. There's 2 shutouts in there against some of the better teams in the league. One is an up-and-coming team, but still has a very, very potent offense in Detroit. He's growing. He's developing a little bit better than I thought he would, to be completely honest with you. I thought he played some bad teams throughout the league, and he was just the product of who he was playing. This year, we're seeing that, he's playing some of these better teams in the league. His positioning, although his wasn't great to start the year, he's made the adjustments. He's positioning himself better. His side-to-side movement is getting a little bit sharper. He's getting quicker that way. Glove hands coming along. He's tracking pucks really well. That's been the big thing. A lot of the goals that he's letting in, they're not bad goals. There's a softie here and there, but for the most part, Sam Ersson is really taking a step from last year and is showing that maybe he could be, maybe not a franchise goalie, but for a team that's in the middle of the road, maybe he could be a legit starter for them. Again, it's a similar situation with Carter Hart. He's 24 years old. Now, he's a guy that hasn't really found his prime yet and found out where he actually can, fit in this league. And again, I think he's showing that he can be a starter. This is the stuff that I was talking about last season with him was, what is he going to do against some of these better teams in the league? What's next year going to look like for this kid? We're getting our answer. He's a legit NHL goaltender. And I know some people said it last year and they're going to puff their chest about it, but Sam Ersson, I think, is a legit NHL goaltender. And I think if he continues to develop the way that he is, he's going to be a nice starter for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, Urson has, in my opinion, proven that he can be a goaltender at this level. That last year he showed some signs of the ability to do it, and this year he's proven that that wasn't a fluke. I can do it, and I am capable of being a goaltender at this level. I think with him, he would be, in my humble opinion, I think he's more of a tandem goaltender from what I've seen. But that's not a bad thing because tandem goaltenders tend to find nice, long, journeyman-like careers in the league. But you still have work 9 times out of 10 when the 82-game season gets ready to go.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 30 games a year.
Right. And you probably will get steady work with any team in the league that looks for some type of shoring up of their goaltending. If their starter is just a slight tick shaky and they don't feel 100% comfortable with them or still young, Urson could be a guy who could step in there and kind of give people a little bit more of that comfort. Kind of like how James Reimer gives people a little bit more comfort, albeit though at this latter stage in his career, I think some people are questioning that. But for a good long while, Reimer was kind of one of those guys you could say, hey, you know what? We kind of want to shore things up. You could put Reimer back there. He could do 30 games. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, real quick. Key to the third period for the Flyers.
Stay out of the penalty box.
Well,
yes.
Well, yeah, but clear
You
the
want to
front
win
of the
the
net.
game? Yeah, you want to win the game. Stay out of the penalty box.
Clear
And
the
don't
front
touch
of the
anybody
net.
named Hughes.
Both goals came off of plays that were in front of the net. So make sure that if there's somebody sitting in front of Sam Merson, make sure you tie up his stick or you shove him out of the way.
Absolutely.
By the way,
Yeah,
they just showed
goals.
the second goal the Flyers scored on the Rangers between periods. What a beautiful snipe that was.
It was.
That was nice. I mean, he on the off wing, left-handed shot on the off wing. That was a beauty.
Yeah.
That was a snipe.
And Greg's saying, what's up, fellas? He also says he agrees to the poll, and that was a nice poke check that Urson made there.
Yeah, it was.
And
Urson looks pretty solid, guys. I think you guys got something there. I think that he needs to play more. You can't use him once every 2 weeks and expect him to be effective. If he gets enough playing time, I think you're going to have yourself a really good goalie, and you may have a decision to make in a couple of years.
Not a bad thing though, because either way you win.
Yeah. Oh, listen. There's a lot of bad goalies in the league right now.
There are a few.
Oh my God! Just ask Edmonton.
Well, yeah, Edmonton doesn't know anything but bad goaltending.
Yeah. So. Can anybody say Jack Campbell?
Yeah, or Serge Skinner, or
what a save! Did he get a piece of that?
I think he did. Wow, what a great save by Sam Urson there, because the Devils had a golden chance right there.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation where the Flyers don't really have to rush to make any moves with a goaltender. I mean,
no,
this is kind of why I came up with the face-off question was, because Sam Merson is playing really well in his. I mean, he's probably getting a couple starts a week with Carter Hart.
Right.
And your next goaltender coming up is probably going to be Bjornstrom, who was just drafted last year.
Right. And
so
then
you got time.
Right.
Yeah, you won't see him for a couple of years.
And Priz saying, would you trade Urson to the Oilers for their first round unprotected this year?
If they're willing to give it up, absolutely.
If the Oilers are that desperate,
first round pick, yeah.
I mean,
if they don't make the playoffs, boy. Yeah.
Right.
Thing though too is apparently, I mean, this is a rumor. Haven't heard anything confirmed on it yet, but apparently talks are heating up between the Devils and the Ducks for John Gibson. So
yeah, I heard that too.
Oh man, no.
That's going to be one goaltender on the move.
Do not send Gibson to the Devils. Can they just not have a good goaltender? I mean, Vanacek's not a bad one. But still, come on. Don't give them Gibby. Then they're going to be a real pain in the ass, and I don't want to have to deal with that.
No, we don't. We want to see the same thing going on there. We don't want anything to change in New Jersey.
So, Swoopy's saying, 2 years ago, I had given up on Konechny. Are you now back on his bandwagon? And how can't you be? Are you glad the Flyers kept him? There was a trade close to happening when the Flyers would have done a one-on-one for Sam Reinhart. Well, I'm kind of happy they didn't do that with the Sam Reinhart deal.
Why?
What?
Have you seen how many goals Reinhart scored this year?
Nothing against Reinhardt, but what I think I'm happy to see is that I'm happy to see that Konechny is finally starting to find his form in Philadelphia.
But, every time he scores a goal, you can say, Reinhardt.
You could. I'm not good with that, though. I can't roll the tongue. I
can't
can't do that as well as somebody else might.
Well, no, the guy in Florida, when he scores, he always says, Reinhardt.
Yeah, because he's good at it. Oh, great chance there. Just could not get that through.
But I mean, for me, it's. I mean, I'm glad they had on the Konechny one because he kind of is the epitome of what a Flyer should be. Tough guy. He'll talk a little shit.
Right.
He knows how to score. He can score.
All kidding
he knows
aside.
how to get. He's all kinds of chirpy. It's. Reinhardt's not that guy. Reinhardt is also a little bit older, I believe. I think he's got a couple years on Konechny. I think he's in his late 20s.
He does, but he can chirp too. He's kind of got a big mouth, and
it's just Konechny just fits so much better than Reinhardt does.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm just saying if you did make that trade though, and I mean I think Reinhardt has 17 goals now.
Yeah, something like that. I think Konechny close to that.
They just showed an interesting stat.
Yeah, I think Konechny has something like that too, right?
Yeah.
Before I answer Spoopy's questions there, they showed an interesting stat that 86.5% of the teams by December 21st that have been in a playoff spot have kept the playoff spot. So, of some kind. If not necessarily the same one, they've made it. So, that's an interesting little thing to throw out there because if the Flyers are still in a position, which they should be come the 21st, maybe the Flyers will be in the playoffs this year, which would be the first time we've had playoff hockey here on the show in 3 years. I think 3 years it's been. So it's been a good long while.
Why not, Matty? They play good. They play good defensive hockey. That's what gets you into the playoffs.
Right.
You win playing good defensive hockey.
True.
And capitalizing on the other team's mistakes and moving the puck. And you got other than Stahl, all your other defensemen are very good puck movers. Okay, and you got young guys who are really, really hungry, and they're playing with house money.
True, and I do love how you keep subtly throwing in the jabs to Stahl. I do love that. That is so well done by you.
Well, no, listen, he's playing well defensively, but he was never a puck mover in New York. So why would there be any?
Why would anything change?
Yeah. I mean, when he gets the puck, he either throws it around off the boards or around the boards. It's not like he's going to throw a headman pass to somebody and start and have a scoring opportunity.
So, to answer, if I'm back on Konechny's bandwagon, when last year I wasn't yet because I wanted to see him do what he did last year this year. So now, yes, I am. I wanted to see him be able to do it for more than just a little bit of a season. I wanted him to be able to do it for me 2 years in a row. So far, he is absolutely living up to that. So you know what? Yeah, I am back on the bandwagon now that he's proven to me that, okay, last year when I had a really solid season and that was really bad year, a good season rolls around and I could still do the exact same thing and even better. So yeah, I am officially back on Konechny's bandwagon here. And yes, I am glad the Flyers kept him. So moving on. Me Metal Mike saying, Priz, I'm keeping Urson as a goaltender through the rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
He also says Urson really has shown up to be a really damn good ace in the hole in the net. That is true.
Agreed. And it's tough. It's tough for me to say that because I'm so critical. I was so critical of him last year, but I mean, he's just been phenomenal this year. He had, like I said, he had that rough first couple games, but he's just been so good since I want to say since he got smacked by Anaheim back in November.
Right.
Maybe it was October. It was either October or early November.
It was somewhere around that range.
Just got smacked by Anaheim, and he's been pretty shut down since then.
Burrs also goes on to say, I would too, but sometimes when teams call and make crazy offers that benefit you, you have to consider it. Yeah, and I know Briere and Jonesy will.
Right, and especially since, the situation that they're in. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, with Hart being on his contract year, is it going to be crazy to think about that? You know, maybe Hart gets considered to be dealt at the deadline, despite how well that this team is playing because of how well Urson is playing.
I don't know, because Hart's played well too. So it'd be one thing if Hart wasn't playing well and Urson was playing way better than he was. I don't know. It's really hard to make that call because, right now where it's in, both goaltenders have played very well this year. So it's a tough call to make in that case. It's not as open and shut.
No, I get it. It's just because I know they were taking, well, at least I don't know. People were reporting that Danny Briere was taking calls on Carter Hart.
Right, but then I think
being on a contract year, I haven't heard anything about an extension.
That's true. Haven't heard anything about that.
Maybe it's something that they're going to consider with this again, especially with how well that Urson is playing. You have Cal Peterson that could play the backup. Not that saying that that's going to be
I don't know about the Cal Peterson one.
That's going to be a step down.
That's a huge step down.
Listen, do you know how hard it is to develop a goalie, guys?
It's very hard.
Yeah, you got two of them, and they're both young.
If Bjornstrom turns into what they think they're going to turn, it's going to be 3. I mean, the Flyers are very in a fairly good situation with goaltending right now, where they have 2 guys that could start. One of those 2 is a franchise guy, and a third guy that's yet to be determined, but has the expectation of being a franchise goaltender.
It's
true. Just a matter of how quickly. The question to me is, how quickly do you want to move this thing forward? And to me, if you want to move this thing forward quickly, you figure out a way to get Hart extended.
Right.
And we knew that this was only going to be a bridge deal for him and that the bigger deal is coming. The question is, do you move him at the deadline now? Or do you hold on to him and work on an extension in the offseason, and then potentially, maybe, if you can't come to terms with it, trade him at the draft?
Possibly.
I mean,
I definitely think that there will be calls, and there will definitely be a lot of talk around Hart, and I think there'll be talk around, possibly even talks around Urson. There'll definitely be talks around, I think, both goaltenders, and I think it'll be an interesting situation, especially come trade deadline time.
Mm-hmm.
That'll definitely be when a lot of that's going to really amp up for both goaltenders.
Yeah, for sure, and like it's it's a difficult situation to be in. This is why, as much as I would love to be an NHL GM, I'm glad I'm not, because this is a tough decision. But in my opinion, after November, I would have had Hart's agent on the phone saying, "Yo, we need to get this extension done with how he's playing so far." And I get it. You want to see it the year through and see where this team is. But if Danny Briere is taking calls on him and Urson continues his play, maybe you consider it. But for me,
boy, that'd be hard to do that, though.
It would be, but I think
if the return is, it depends on the return too.
The one thing is, though, is that I think Danny is the one thing that I think he's been very good at is he's been very, very almost a great moment right there. He's been very, very careful. He hasn't done anything in a panic. There hasn't been that sense of, oh my God, we got to make this deal now. He's been very, very patient. He's been very cautiously optimistic on the team and the way they've played. So is Jonesy. And I think both of them have done this the right way. They're playing it the right way. They're letting the other teams have to try and put the work in to figure out what it would take. And Danny and the rest are being very, very I wouldn't say picky, but they're sifting through, to see if it's really worth it in the long run or if it's not.
Whoa!
Oh, what a great chance.
Oh,
no, that's not good. And there's, I think, a penalty coming up.
But yeah, I mean, this is a situation that, I mean, maybe Hart doesn't want to discuss a contract extension during the year.
Maybe not.
That's a possibility, but it's definitely, it's for some Flyers fans, I'm sure, that aren't aware that this is the last year of his contract. It makes things a little unsettling knowing that they're not really talking about that.
It is a little. You do bring up a good point that the extension has not been discussed at all. And that is a little worrisome when you think about that, considering that Hart has played rather well. And that's a hook. That's what they're going to call. Ooh, Hathaway, man, he plunged right down to the ice there. And I don't think that was the time. I just think he completely lost his balance on his skates there. Yeah, he lifted that 1 foot up and then he just fell.
I mean, I call that a ticky-tack hook, but
it's definitely ticky-tack. I'm not going to lie, but Hathaway falling, I don't think Hathaway dove. I think he just literally lost his balance, and I think that's what drove the referee's decision there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good effort by Hathaway.
In today's NHL, they're going to call that every time.
Right, right.
You know, whether you like it or not.
If they see the stick touch the hands, it's every time.
Yep, even if it's just a tap, they will call it.
Yep. That's the rule. That's the one thing they always call.
Right. Pris saying, I'd prefer to keep the tandem together for at least 2 years if possible, but if a great offer does come through, you have to listen. And I agree. Good offer comes through, you should listen. But keep it together. Don't rush and make a deal when you don't have to. Eric saying he has more shutouts than Hart. He's
got one more.
Right. And
let me ask you guys a question. Who do the Flyers play better in front of?
I think it's been pretty even.
This year, yeah. Last year, I would say they played very relaxed in front of Hart, and they played a little bit tighter in front of Urson because I think they weren't as confident in Urson as they were Hart. I think that's what led to those problems. But now that the team has kind of figured out what they need in the Tortorella system, yeah, I would agree with Brian. I think it's been a little bit more even.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Great
save, Urson. There you go. There you go.
I think it's a comfort level, too. I think that they're just as comfortable playing in front of Urson now as they are playing in front of Hart. It's great. It's great to see. It's like I was saying last week, Brad, man. This team is bought in on each other. They're playing for each other, and it doesn't matter who's in net. You're getting the same effort every night from this team, and the consistency is a great thing to see. And even Torts was saying, was it after the Detroit game that he loves the consistency that he's seeing because they're putting in the same effort every night.
That's huge. I mean, my team, I'll be honest with you, okay? Poor Igor Shesterkin, they have not played well in front of him. I mean, it's like, when he's in there, we don't have to play defense. Igor's in net. Well, yes, you do.
Right. Just because he's a good goaltender doesn't mean that you can just say screw it.
Yeah, a lot of people have been criticizing him because he's been giving up goals. Well, giving up goals to like a guy like Matthews from 3 inches away is not exactly is not his fault,
Right. It's only Austin Matthews, the leading goal scorer in the league right now.
Yeah, well, he scored two, he scored 2 tonight for Toronto, by the way. And that it's 2-2. But I mean, when Quick's out there, they give up 5 shots on goal a period. That's and when Shesterkin's out there, he has to make 35 saves. I mean, it's like, wait a minute, guys.
So Eric is saying I want to keep Hart something like 3-year deal.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do better than that.
Penguins fans saying Nashville really has been playing good, smart hockey enough to maybe get a playoff spot. That's the current Western Conference standings. And yes, we're almost through December. Who's in, who's out. And he also then go on to the Penguins, shits on Philly. I don't know about that. Flyers beat you in a home and home, bud. It's more the opposite way.
That's tough. I mean, I'd have to look at the standings to see who's in and out. It's a good idea for another show.
Well, I think Winnipeg is in big trouble
when we don't have a live reaction. But that's a great question. But I think I agree. Nashville's playing really smart. I think it's the Andrew Brunette effect. Right. And I think that's just what he demands when he's behind the bench. Because you saw it with Florida when he was there.
Well, if you want to, I do have the standings up. I could do a quick rundown here. In the East, the top 3 spots in the Atlantic are Boston, Toronto, and Florida. Give it up to Florida, though. Coming back after their Stanley Cup Finals appearance, and they're still in the thick of it. Give it good on them.
Yeah, and all the injuries to their defensemen.
Right, and they're still doing it.
Fortunately, they're getting them back.
They're all
now,
back already. Yeah, they're all back now. Montour's back.
Yeah, surprise appearance in the finals last year, and they're still coming back strong. Metropolitan Division, the Rangers are first, Flyers are second, and the Islanders are third. And the top 2 current wild cards are the Carolina Hurricanes at 1 and Washington at 2. Albeit, though, it is a tie for that second wild card spot with the Red Wings. So it's getting pretty tight in that race.
The Hurricanes are better than the Red Wings, by the way.
So there you go.
Have you seen what they're doing to the Golden Knights tonight?
Yeah, you said they were killing them.
Yeah, it's 6-1. You think they missed Svechnikov a little bit?
Just a little.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't played in 6 games, and now all of a sudden he comes back and
clear the guy.
Oh my God! All those great saves from Urson. Woo! That was the scariest chance the Devils had. Holy crap! Yeah, I know. Got to clear that porch. Got to clear the porch. In the West, the Central Division, Dallas 1, Colorado 2, Winnipeg 3. In the Pacific Division, Vegas 1, Vancouver 2. Give it up for Vancouver, too, by the way. LA 3. And the top 2 wild cards are the Nashville Predators at 1 and the Arizona Coyotes at 2. And give it up for Arizona, too, being here in the thick of it right now. Usually they're way out of it by now.
Yeah, they're getting good goaltending.
I told you guys in the beginning of the season they look like a different team.
It's true. You were right.
Oh my gosh!
The Rangers beat them in a game at the Garden 2-1, and I mean Arizona gave them all they could handle. I was like, "What? Wait a minute! I thought it was the Rangers just playing like crap, but apparently it wasn't."
Right. Well, hey, Yodeling Yotes fan, here you go, man. No one's talking about how the Yotes are playing, and hell froze over to me. Predictions: we get shut out by the Flyers in the Cup this season, and we both snag top draft picks still. But hey, man, good on your Yotes, man. They're actually throwing out. They're killing it right now, getting that wild card spot. Good on them.
Yeah, they just lost a couple players, though. They lost Barrett Hayden is out for a while, and they just lost somebody for the season. I'm blanking on who it is. For some reason, I want to say it's Lawson Krause, but I'm not 100% on that.
Oh, that would be a tough loss.
Yeah, that is a tough
one to lose.
Let me double check. Yeah, that was huge.
And then typical good next door says, everything is fine here in Vancouver. Drinks on me, fellas. It's winning hockey finally here for the Canucks. Oh, wait, no. Stanley Cup nightmares. 2 rematches can happen. Boston versus your sore.
Oof.
Come on. Listen, Canucks Dork, I get it. I get it, brother. Just let yourself be happy. Your team's playing well right now. You're number 2. Enjoy it while you have it. Speaking from someone who had to watch 3 miserable years of the Flyers right now and has watched the Sharks become a miserable sack of shit, enjoy the good play while you have it because it doesn't last forever. So enjoy it while you got it. So let yourself be happy, brother.
Travis Boyd out for the year, and Barrett Hayden's out until February.
Oof.
Well, at least still, I'd rather have Krause than Boyd.
True,
but yeah.
But you know the emergence of Logan Cooley this year is just unreal. He's proving why he was the number 3 overall pick. The kid is so good. He is so good.
And Swoopy saying, why is Risto on the number 1 power play over Cam York? Is it Risto's hard slap shot the reason?
Yes. Oh, yeah. What a play.
Who just scored?
Braden Schneider scored to the Rangers, and they have a 3-2 lead with 12 minutes to go. Terrible goal given up by Martin Jones, by the way. His legs were spread wide apart, and Schneider went to put it between his legs, and it kind of bounced in off his legs.
Priz, don't even bring Priz, I don't want to hear it, brother. You made the wrong choice there saying, oh, it's almost been 10 years since Chicago won the Cup. Dude, don't. You were just asking for trouble. With Chicago winning those 3, no.
It's been 13 years for Anaheim, so.
And it's been almost It's almost 50 years since the freaking Flyers won anything. So I don't want to hear anything about it.
Yeah, you know what? We've got one in the last 75, so I
16
don't want to
years.
hear it either.
Oh, 60. Never mind. Even more. And the Sharks have never won anything for me. So there you go. So I don't want to hear it. With that being said, still 2-2 here in the third period. 21 shots apiece. Very evenly contested matchup. Devils have had some scary chances. The Flyers have had some scary chances. Both goaltenders, Vanacek and Urson, have been playing very well in this period, keeping both teams off the board. And with that, let's do a quick change of pace. To the third period. Oh, but before we go any further, for third period, because that is what we're going to do. Man, I'm having a hard time with this preview of the Predators. I keep forgetting it's the third period. Anyway.
Throwing you a curveball there, bro.
You did, you bastard. Why'd you do this to me?
Because it's fun.
Yeah. I can't say.
We're a Flyer-centric show. I got to make it all Flyers based for you, bud.
No. That's fine. It's just that, I complain, but you know what? I set myself up for this. I torture people all the time, and yet I'm going to complain when I get tortured. Come on. Anyway.
It's the phrase that pays for you, Maddie. It's because you like chaos.
Right. You are correct. All right. So Alonzi Travel, third period sponsor, specializing in creating the vacation of your dreams to Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls to. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation for you. Ritz and Chucks are the two gentlemen from A2D to speak on that. And check out their respective shows of Birds of a Feather and In This Very Ring. Plenty of enjoyable things to find on those two shows, those two fine shows here at A2D.
Especially right now with the WWE going the route that they're going with CM Punk. It's going to be some fun conversations, especially if CM Punk wins that Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah. Now that the January and that build up to WrestleMania, oh, great chance. Oh, man. Great play, though, from the Flyers. Just could not get the finish. Oh, my Lord. Hit. What the hell? Who was that just drilled one of the Flyers?
Whoever's wearing 88, I don't know. Haven't seen that. I don't recognize who that is.
Whoever it was, he just hurled his ass to the ice.
Yeah.
Whew. And
that was dangerous.
That was very dangerous because the Flyers couldn't get control of the puck there. Whew. All right, so preview between the Flyers and the Predators. Flyers lost last time against these two teams in overtime, but the Flyers fought hard to tie the game back up. So, question for you, gentlemen. Do you see the Flyers getting revenge here, or do you see the Predators taking the L? What things do you think the Flyers should look for, and do you have a score for me?
I think for this one, you're going to see a bit of the same style of play. I think it's going to be another really close one. My thing for this team is, we said this last week. You can't get in the hole against Nashville early. They got good goaltending. They got a really good defense led by Roman Josi. You got to stay out of the box with them as well. Just like any other team, they have another fairly lethal power play. Again, Roman Josi's a guy on the point. He's probably the most dangerous player on that team.
Forsberg's pretty darn good too.
Oh, he is. Mm-hmm. He's definitely is.
He scored
he's having a great year. Yeah, he's having a great year as well.
Yes, he is. He's like the clock that keeps on ticking.
But right. You gotta keep your foot on the gas pedal against Nashville. They're gonna make you pay. You're seeing a lot of back and forth here against the Devils. When you play Nashville on, I think, Thursday,
that's not going to be like that.
Gotta be aggressive. Gotta be hard on the puck, hard on the forecheck. Make Nashville chase the game. That's my key. I think it's going to be another 3-2 final, but I think the Flyers
Nashville slows it. Nashville slows it down and basically puts you to sleep.
Yeah,
in a way they do. They kind of slow the game down and it's a really grinding kind of game against them.
Well, I think it's also because you have Saros in net, and he's really good at shutting it down and locking it down. Same thing. It was kind of a similar way that they would do with Pecorine, where if he's on his game, you're not scoring. It's as simple as that. So it's really become Saros has become the heir apparent to that.
You got you got to get in front of him.
Right.
I mean, I mean in front of the net. That. I mean, it would be nice to score first too, obviously, but you got to get in front of Saros. You can't let him see the shot, because if he sees the shot, unless it's a slam dunk rebound, he's gonna stop it.
Ooh, what a save from Urson. Oh, and we got some rough stuff. Oh boy.
It was a matter of time.
It was. Surprisingly, not a lot of rough stuff when the Penguins came to Philadelphia. I was very shocked by that. But anyway,
Well, if you think about it, I mean, I feel like the Pittsburgh Flyers rivalry is more fan base oriented. This is Devils and Flyers. They just don't like each other.
yeah, that's true. That's historical.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Devils had
But the Devils hate the Rangers.
The Devils hate
the
everybody.
Make that
Rangers
make
hate
sense.
the Devils right back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's just how it
they
works.
had their little Rangers suck chant.
They do, and it doesn't matter who they're playing. That chant always breaks out.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with the Rangers with Dennis Poffin.
Right.
Yeah.
Wherever if there are Ranger fans in the other in an opposing building, you're gonna hear that guy whistling, and then everybody's gonna yell, "Poffin sucks." That's a Ranger fan.
What
And
I want to know
everybody's gonna be like, "What the hell was that supposed to be?"
What I want to know is how have the Islanders stolen that from the Devils fans? The only reason I say that is because the Islanders fans can't chant 1940 anymore. So it's like after 94, that's been gone. So
yeah, they haven't had anything really to yell at Ranger fans. That's kind of they go back and forth. They go back and forth. Whoever wins the season series, the last game that they play, they'll start chanting, "You can't beat us." That's
I see.
Yeah, that started back in the 90s when the Rangers were not making the playoffs.
I see.
At one season, but the Rangers beat the Islanders 6 straight games. All 6 games they won. And the Rangers were like 20 points out of the playoffs, but the Islanders were firmly in the playoffs, and the fans are chanting, "You can't beat us." even though we're in last place, you can't beat us.
Well, as usual, rivals are gonna kick on you while you're down. But go ahead, Saber, saying, I think the league put some of that cheap moonshine in our Gatorade bottles, and we ain't playing smart hockey here in Boston. What happened? I don't know, man. I don't know. He also says, we rebuilt to go back to the tire fire to the rebuy. It's a vicious cycle. Like I was saying,
we're doing the same thing.
Okay, I mean, the Sabres are getting their lunch handed to them by the Blue Jackets, 7-3.
7-3. Good Lord.
7-3. Holy.
Good Lord.
That is ridiculous.
The Blackhawks, Slapshot Blackhawks saying, points Glock at Priz, you have failed me, Blackhawk brethren. How fitting that a Blackhawks fan would murder another Blackhawks fan. It is the murder capital of the United States. So, and Thrashers Forever fans saying, what's a Stanley Cup? And I hold it, yet does Atlanta deserve a championship in the Metro? I don't even know if Atlanta deserves a team.
Atlanta. Haven't you heard Atlanta moved to Winnipeg?
Yeah.
They can't. They're not in the Metro division anymore. Sorry.
Still gonna maybe get a third chance at that.
Right. Maybe. Joe saying Urson is an absolute heater, especially in OT and shootouts. Well, keep your fingers crossed on that one, Joe, because in 20 seconds it may very well be another OT here. But in the meantime, do we have?
Hey, you'll take the point in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just like the Rangers. I'll take if the Rangers blow this game, I'll still take a point if I can get a point in Toronto. Although the Rangers are on a power play right now, so I'd be kind of disgusted if they can't score and then lose the game because they didn't score in the power play. But
yeah, it's overtime.
All right, OT time.
Wow, there you go, guys. It is overtime.
So a point for both teams in the standings. 1 point left to grab here. Question is, who will get it? And then one final thing before we finish up this third period. Score for me, gentlemen. What do we got here?
3-2 Flyers.
3-2 Flyers for you, Bri. Brad, how you feeling?
3-1 Flyers.
3-1 Flyers. I am going to say 4-2 Flyers.
Well,
All
Rangers have
right.
some power play, boys. I'll tell you what, that power play there is almost as good as the Devils.
Right.
4-2 Rangers now with 5 minutes to go.
Oh.
Panarin.
So, on to overtime we go. Brought to you by the doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, a sponsor of today's show, as always. If you have any aches and pains, go to the doc. Make an appointment at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com and let the doc take care of you. All right, then. So, on to our overtime segment, which is around the league. And so, gentlemen, what are the main topics that we wanted to talk about here going on in the NHL?
Not a whole lot going on in the NHL right now, and we're going to make it quick because we're up against it. We got Birds of a Feather getting ready to come on right behind us to discuss that game last night, and we won't say any more about that because
for reasons.
Yeah, for reasons. Since we've last been on, a couple coaching changes going on around the league. Craig Berube relieved of duties in St. Louis, and we've had DJ Smith relieved of duties in Ottawa as well. Antti Ranta waived by the Carolina Hurricanes. There was no indication of whether or not they're terminating the contract or if
he's in the minor. Yeah, they put him in the minor leagues.
And then as far as been a couple trades, the one notable one is Thomas Tatar going from Colorado to Seattle.
Yeah. He hasn't done that. He didn't do anything in Colorado, though.
No, I don't even think he had a goal.
So the overtime records here, 2-3 for the Flyers and 3-0 for the Devils. Which, by the way, unfortunately, one of those OT wins is against the Flyers. So hopefully it changes here. But, yeah, I'm not surprised that a coaching change happened in Ottawa. Ottawa has had a miserable season. Started out with all the promise in the world and fell apart.
They fired the GM. So, I mean, you had to figure the coach was going to be gone, too, because whoever the new GM is, they're going to want to pick their own coach.
Right.
Yeah, they fired both on the same day.
By the way, that poor Sabre fan tonight.
Wow, they avoided that. Wow, they avoided a penalty.
And 9-4. Buffalo's losing 9-4.
Flyers gain the zone. They got a chance. Jeez, that's ridiculous. And Konechny's got the puck. Oh, dancing with it, though. He's trying to find a lane. Yeah, it's hard to do if the Devils are playing good defense, so he just shot it back into the zone. Urson's going to play it there.
Yeah, they're going to get it.
Hey, it's all about puck possession, guys. It's
all
about puck possession on 3-on-3. If you notice,
you don't want to take any unnecessary chances.
Yeah, it becomes like soccer on ice.
Right.
They just kind of throw the puck around.
Almost nice. Oh, what a great! Oh man, that was almost a beautiful little deke right there. Oh, it is what it is, though. That was a good chance there.
Who has the puck now?
The Devils. Hershier just took it over the blue line, and he took it right back.
They're going to do the same thing. They're going to get some changes, too, real quick.
Right.
Reset.
And no, puck. Devils are just going to shoot it right back.
Good
and the ref actually got in front. Yeah, ref got in way of it. Nemec gets the puck again. Devils got it back in their zone. Push. Nope, he didn't like what he saw, so he's just going to circle it back. Very normal to see that happen in 3-on-3 overtime.
And I kind of feel bad that they went into overtime because Birds of a Feather's waiting on us now.
I know, but it's just like, oh, this is such
It'll
a
probably go into
moment.
a shootout now.
Hopefully that. I really hope not.
Somebody end it so we can get off.
Right. And then,
that was
what
it.
a save by Urson. And now they got to move up. Come on, Flyers now racing towards the 2-on-1 chance. Oh, shot.
Ooh, good shot by Fairby, but he had Poling.
He should have passed it to Paling, I think, there. Oh, he took a great chance, though, and Vanacek saw it coming. Great try, though. Great try. Off of a really good save from Urson. I mean, he just barely got that puck with his pad.
Another really good pass there by York. York has been really good this year.
He has been, and I mean, we all knew that York had the ability to be a great player as a D-man, and he's been really developing very well. Yeah, so face-off won by the Flyers. They took a shot right off the face-off, and Vanacek said, nope.
Yes! Empty net goal for the Rangers.
So that should take care of that.
Yeah, 5-2. Zibanejad got his second of the night. I just want to thank the Flyers for one thing. You know, Zibanejad had only had 2 goals going into Thanksgiving. Ever since he played the Flyers and got those 2 goals, he's been on fire. I think he's got 11
Two
now.
on one for the Devils. Luckily, the Flyers stopped it from happening any further. Oh, no. Whew, that took a weird bounce off the backboards there. Oh, boy. Battle on the boards. Devils almost got it. Yeah, they do. And they're just going to send it back because they need to change. Oh, boy. 2 minutes left. Oh, no.
Lazy
Two on
play.
the chance. Oh, it's great save by Urson. Oh, a chance for a breakaway here for Coots. He's not going to get a breakaway, but still. Coots fell, but he still got the puck at least. And he makes a nice pass. A shot. Oh, he hit the post. Konechny hit the post. Oh, what a chance right there. Oh, man. Oh, that's not good. Usually when it hits the post, that's not a good sign. Oh, no. Here comes Bratt. And he didn't like what he saw. So he's going to carry it back.
He's going to take it out again? Oh.
Yeah, he took it out because he didn't like what he saw.
You know, I bet this.
Oh, good turnover here. Flyers got it.
Got it.
He scores. There we go.
There
The Flyers win it. There we go. Tip it, baby. Getting it. The Flyers get the win on the Devils in the Prudential Center. Revenge for the OT victory that the Devils got in Philadelphia.
I got to love it, boys. Bury that team. Bury them.
Ooh, what a goal.
They're full as they fall further and further behind. It's good to see that they recovered from their loss to Anaheim.
Right.
By losing to the Flyers. Too.
And it was Hughes who screwed up here. He completely turns the puck over right to tip it, which is even more hilarious because Hughes scored the winner in the previous game.
His snipe ability is crazy, but we need to jump off of here. So
we do. Okay. So, yes.
Congratulations, boys.
Congrats. Thank you, Brad. Congrats to your Rangers for their victory. And Harry Gaskins, yes, Owen the terrific. Joe throwing out the Owen Tippett is awesome. And Harry saying can't stand the Devils, me neither. So it's a good win all around, ladies and gentlemen. We thank everybody for joining us for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. Us finishing up our live reactions to the Devils and the Flyers. A big win for the Orange and Black here tonight. And next week here on the show, just do a quick check of my calendar here before we close this sucker out. We will not have a game to live react to because, actually, I forgot. Next week is a Christmas break. And next week is Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the day after Christmas, actually. So we'll see what we got for you next week. Anyway, Specialized Physical Therapy, that's the sponsor of tonight's show. Check the doc out any chance you get to take care of aches and pains. Next week, we'll see you guys then. Until then, you have a Merry Christmas, and we hope that you guys get what you want from Santa this year. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace and love, everyone. Take it easy.
Merry Christmas, y'all.